And Carly, so the former director of the FBI, James Comey, faces a 2-count indictment, including charges of giving false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. Both alleged crimes relate to Comey's testimony during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing back in 2020, which focused on the investigation into ties between Russia and President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. Comey responded to the indictment in an Instagram video. Watch.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
President Trump reacted to Fox Digital with this quote. He is a very corrupt person. He was absolutely a terrible man for what this country stood for. Comey placed a cloud over the entire nation. And actually, the Russia hoax made it very difficult. It could have caused wars. And in a post to X, Attorney General Pam Bondi writing in part, quote, "No one is above the law. Today's indictment, it reflects this Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse power, positions of power, accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case." And, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel posting this in part, quote, "Today, your FBI took another step in its promise of full accountability. For far too long, previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement. This FBI will confront the problem head on." And Comey is set to be arraigned in October, on October 9th in Alexandria, Virginia.
Over the line!
Huh?
You were over the line, that's a foul.
Bullshit. Mark at 8, dude.
Excuse me. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't...
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't over. Give me the marker, dude. I'm marking an 8.
You're entering a world of pain.
Walter, man.
A world of pain.
Your partner.
Is the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules? Mark it 0. You think I'm around here? Mark it 0. Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Jerry, you have to bleep that. Jerry, you gotta bleep. Jerry. Well done. That's funny. Ah, Big Lebowski. Ladies and gentlemen, are we going to see a big arrest today? Show me the door, Klein. Show me James Comey's door. We have a live shot of James Comey's door. In case he gets arrested today, live on the show, which may well happen. I don't know why this door isn't kicked in. I don't know why they're giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to peacefully surrender. You know, they did a late night raid where they blew open the door of Roger Stone's house. They put Peter Navarro in leg irons. Same thing with Steve Bannon. Remember how they didn't announce that they were going to march into Mar-a-Lago with a kill order just in case there was a blue on blue nightmare? They wanted to ensure that it was as dangerous as possible for President Trump and his teenage son, Barron, and Melania. Thank God they weren't there at the time, but they didn't care. Why we're giving James Comey all of these niceties, I don't understand. But nonetheless, here is the door of James Comey's house. There's a live shot here, and our production team is live, locked in, and ready to rip if James Comey, if feds go up to Comey's door here and knock it in. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. It may happen live on the show. We don't know. Klein, I just saw there you had some imagery of what it looks like when Roger Stone is arrested. Wow. Would you look at this? Slightly. So where's this happening to James Comey? That's strange. Where's this happening? We're going to have General Flynn on the show. I'm going to talk about the differences. They're so subtle, actually. So subtle differences. This was Roger Stone's home. And then you can see here the peaceful Mayberry. Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's exactly right. Literal finger on trigger. And then you can see the peaceful Mayberry of James Comey's house. Boy, and one of these things is not like the other. But maybe it'll happen live. We're not sure. We're going to be locked in and ready to go and show you what happens next today, Friday, September 26, 2025. James Comey has officially been indicted. And the FBI had 275 Undercover agents embedded in January 6th, congressional source says. Would you look at that? The FBI, there was nobody there. The FBI, there were few people there. The FBI, there were 300 people there. We were January 6th. We'll have a J6er on the program, John Strand, who we're very excited to have, along with Julie Kelly, who will be able to cover both of these topics adeptly. I've obviously already previewed General Michael Flynn, who has a very prominent history on this show predicting James Comey's arrest. Hey, Alex, can you please grab that one famous clip of Michael Flynn threatening Comey, saying, "Get ready, bucko. It's going to be a good time." And of course, Lord Trump will be live on the program. We will rock and roll today. We will bring the energy. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Make sure that you are locked in as well into your financial future by investing in gold. My friends at Advantage Gold can help set you up. The Federal Reserve has cut interest rates, and history tells us what happens next. When Feds slash rates, gold and silver take off. They make money easier to print. They make money less valuable. There's some upsides to that. There's some downsides. But the reality is that true assets that have actual finality to them, that have true reserve status to them, like gold, they go through the roof in times of easy money printing. It's always happened. It's happening right now. Advantage Gold can set you up with the 2025 Gold and Silver Report. The report lays out why America First investors believe that they are on the verge of a massive precious metal boom. Get yours today. Text Benny to 85545 right now. That's Benny to 85545 right now. Do it today and get your free copy of the 2025 Gold and Silver Report before the Fed's next move potentially sends metals even higher. Text Benny to 85545 and help protect your savings and secure your financial future. A golden era, ladies and gentlemen. Let's lock and load. So, locking and loading. We've already done a little off the top of the dome. James Comey's house. I still love this shot. I love it. This is a live shot. You can see the birds fluttering. You can see the leaves blowing in the breeze. This is the live shot of James Comey's door. We'll see what happens next. But ladies and gentlemen, what happened last night was something that we have been predicting for a little while on this program. Guests like Mike Davis and General Flynn have been saying that James Comey is going to be arrested. He's going to be indicted, and things are going to really, truly go down. And everybody accused us of copium. They accused us of just trusting the plan a little too much, right? Fell for it again. There's never going to be an arrest. There's never going to be an indictment. No deep stater is ever going to be punished, ever. Well, to that, I tell you, and Klein, please get the rap horn ready, shall you? Shall we? Okay, thank you very much. To that, I tell you, we were right. We were right. And we have been on this show for years talking about Comey's crimes, and we were right. We were right. We were right. We were right. The haters were wrong, and James Comey has officially been indicted on 2 federal counts of crimes. Former FBI head James Comey calls Trump a tyrant following his indictment for lying to Congress while declaring his innocence. Let's go ahead and read the indictment, shall we? Let's put it, I want to see it up on screen. I want to read it right now. I want you to see it. Let's put up the documents. Here's the actual physical indictment. Reading to you from the top. Count 1. On or about September 30th, 2020, James Comey did willfully acknowledge and make materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements in the matter within the jurisdiction of legislative branch of the government of the United States by falsely stating to a U.S. Senator during the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that he, James Comey, had not authorized somebody else at the FBI to be an anonymous source to news reports regarding FBI investigation concerning person 1. This would be leaking, telling Andrew McCabe to leak, telling his friend, the Columbia professor, Daniel Richman, to leak to the New York Times. This is what this is. We played you the clip yesterday, and we'll go through all of it today. Count 2. On or about September 30th, 2020, in the Eastern District of Virginia, the defendant, James B. Comey, did corruptly endeavor to influence, obstruct, and impede due proper exercise of power and inquiry under the investigation being held before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Throw away the key. And you can see here the actual violations. The statutes here are 5 years in prison for each count. James Comey looking at 10 years in prison. And as Mike Davis has said, oh, come on, please tell me we have the Davis tweet. Poor ALX, so much breaking news. As Mike Davis has said, you don't understand, James. This is just your first indictment. This isn't your only indictment. This is just the first one. It's the Simpsons meme. This is the worst day of my life. The worst day of your life so far. Come on, James. We got more for you, buddy. Don't you worry. This is just your first indictment. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's rock and roll. What does President Trump have to say? What does all of the administration have to say? Let's lock in and listen to the people that made this all possible. Massive shout outs to Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, the entire Justice Department, to those who promised that there would be justice in America and a resetting of the tables, righteous tables of justice. Here is President Trump. Let's start with this. Justice in America, one of the worst human beings in the country, has been exposed. James Comey, corrupt, former head of the FBI. Today, he was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts of various illegal and unlawful acts. He has been so bad for our country and so long. And it's now the beginning of us holding people accountable. Do you see that word? It's the beginning of holding people accountable for the crimes of our nation. Make America great again. Oh, baby, little birdies tell me. We've been having some real conversations. Little birdies tell me that it's just getting started. They're just getting started. That there are real big wheels in motion here, is Mike Davis. Dear Comey, this is just your first trial. There's gonna be more than one. This is him responding to Comey's reaction. I guess we might as well just play that right now. Let's rock and roll.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Okay. You know, it's all very profound. It's all very gruff. It's all very judicious. And it's all in the exact same outfit that he wore when he recorded his Taylor Swift video.
My Substack.
The same outfit.
Out to have been COVID, quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president, and still Houston finished it on her phone. But I watched it. You see, Taylor Swift and I go way back. I went to my first concert of hers 15 years ago. I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others. I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat. I know all her...
You know, hard to take you seriously, James, when you wear the same fit for your whole, like, I shall stand against tyranny op. And then in the same, what seems to be the same recording session, with the same little ring light in your bathroom, like a 14-year-old cheerleader, you're sitting there being like, I'm a Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift. She's an American hero. Donald Trump, the tyrant. It's hard to take it seriously, James, when you don't even change your outfit. But don't worry, we'll change your outfit for you. Mike Davis was promising 6'6" orange jumpsuits for James Comey. Ooh, man. James Comey, of course, undone by the man we always knew would be the undoing of James Comey, James Comey. Here's an old James Comey tweet. Good day for the rule of law. I love how they're all free speech activists, by the way, like Hillary Clinton, James Comey, and ALX. Do any of them have their replies open? Any of them have their replies open? None of them are. You're not able to reply to any of these. But just a reminder, last week they were the beacons of free speech. We care about free speech. Hillary Clinton calling for censorship yesterday. So many useful idiots on our side. Thank God Kash and Dan are not them. Let's go ahead and read very quickly here. Kash and Dan Bongino. Today, your FBI took a step. Full accountability for far too long. Previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement, dragged, damaged, our once proud institutions and severely eroded public trust. Every single day we continue to fight to earn back that trust. Nowhere has this politicization of law enforcement been more blatant than during the Russiagate hoax, disgraceful chapter in history. We continue to investigate and expose it. Everyone, especially those in positions of power, will be held accountable, no matter the perch. Nobody is above the law. I love that. No one is above the law. When Director Patel and I took our leadership positions, says Dan Bongino, in the FBI, we promised the American people accountability. And promises matter. Pam Bondi and then Elon Musk. Let's go. Pam Bondi says, nobody is above the law. I love that. Just keep hammering it. No one is above the law. You know, the federal government can't force an indictment. I mean, a jury of your peers indicts, right? So this is the law. Nobody is above the law. Today's indictment reflects the Department of Justice commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable, misleading the American people. We will follow the facts of the case. Ooh, baby. And look, and when ALX tosses an Elon Musk post in here, you know you always got to do it. Cool shell formation found on a beach walk. So Elon Musk not only is sitting in the box with Donald Trump at Charlie's memorial service just a few days ago, but he's now posting Trump memes. He's meme posting again. Donald Trump AIs. We are living in the golden timeline. We're living in the greatest timeline. Ooh, baby. We are cooking here today. We have a ton of incredible responses from people that obviously are able to break this stuff down, well, really well. And breaking down is what happened to James Comey's son-in-law, who actually resigned. Just resigned. This is great. Breaking. Troy Edwards, James Comey's son-in-law, steps down from U.S. Attorney's Office in Eastern Virginia immediately following Comey's indictment. So his son-in-law worked at the same place. Why did James Comey's entire family work? So James Comey's entire family were like ticks, blood-sucking ticks in the DOJ. All of them were working. His daughter, Maureen Comey, was working the Diddy trial, like throwing all the biggest trials in the world, Sam Bankman fraud. Like Maureen Comey was in there to make sure that every single big-time Democrat that was indicted gets off the hook. Maureen Comey worked Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, Jeffrey Epstein's trials, Diddy's trial, Sam Bankman-Fried's trial. She was finally fired by the DOJ. And now James Comey's son-in-law also worked in the same district that James Comey was just indicted in, and he resigned. Pretty awesome. To uphold by oath to the Constitution, I hereby resign as Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, effective immediately. Yeah, right. Oath to the Constitution. Oath to my father-in-law is what it should say. Okay, great. Okay, Trump on Comey. Do we got that? All right. Okay. Killer Klein's telling me we got to see this one. Let's go. Is this from right now? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I just want to preview this. This isn't some recap from the last 24 hours. This just happened literally seconds ago at the White House. President Trump is on his way to the Ryder Cup. That's going to be in New York. So Donald Trump outside of the White House responding right now. Let's go.
I'm James Comey. Now that James Comey has been indicted, who is the next person on your list in this retribution?
It's not a list, but I think there'll be others. I mean, they're corrupt. These were corrupt, radical left Democrats. Because Comey essentially was he was worse than a Democrat. I would say the Democrats are better than Comey. But no, there'll be others. Look, that's my opinion. They weaponized the Justice Department like nobody in history. What they've done is terrible. And so I hope there are others, because you can't let this happen to a country.
Will you appoint a permanent U.S. attorney to try this case? Lindsey Halligan has never tried a case.
Well, we'll see, but it's a pretty easy case because, look, he lied. You saw my truth today. He lied. It was yes, no. He didn't say, well, in my opinion, he didn't do a lot of things that maybe he should have, but I don't think he could because he lied. That was a very important question that he was asked. And he wanted to be specific, but he didn't. The only thing that happened to him, he didn't think he'd get caught. But that answer that he gave, that was a very important answer. And for him, it was a very good answer if he didn't get caught. But he got caught lying to Congress.
How is this not President Trump, are you worried now that the next time there's a Democratic president, they will indict your FBI director or people in your administration?
That's what they tried to do, right? They did it with me for 4 years. They
That's
were
right.
after me. They went after me for 4 years, and that doesn't include the 4 great years that we had in the White House. So when I ran it from, 2016 when we won, it began before I got to office. You know that. Wait a minute. Before I came to office, I started hearing rumors about Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Nothing. And then it got worse and worse, and some of the fakers, not you, but some of the fake news picked it up and they loved it. And we went through a long time with that. And despite that, we had a great first term.
Because that's how it went, where they made you go and take a mugshot. Is this more about justice, or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it. And it's, as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer. It was a strong answer. He then verified it a couple of times because that was a very important answer. If he would have equivocated, if he would have been like a little bit less sure, that would have been very bad for him. So he gave an answer. The only problem is for him, he didn't think it'd be caught. And he got caught, Peter.
And he got caught. Didn't get caught? Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder, no one is above the law. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Democrats did this to Republicans? Could you imagine? Where have these people been living? What have you been smoking? What's going on? Like, how do you just forget? Like, I'm interested. Like, you huff paint? Like, what do you do exactly? How do you forget the last 4 years? Look at, like, we've had like multiple guests here. You're looking at multiple guests on our show here. By the way, this is Rudy, right up there. He was on yesterday. Look at this. Some of these people now work at the White House. There's Jeff down at the bottom, right below Trump's chin. Jeff Clark right there. Straight up awesome homie on the show. Do you forget? These are for non-crimes, obviously. This is for the lawful protesting of the election results and the alternate slate of electors, which is constitutionally allowed and mandated. They did this because Donald Trump, under his free speech and debate rights in America, said that he thought that the election was rigged in Georgia. And look what they did to him. James Comey, on the other hand, actually literally lied. We're going to show you. So James Comey lying under oath. What is we don't have time to get to all of them. So what is the strongest way to show this? Let's go to John Solomon. We love John Solomon. Rock and roll with John Solomon, breaking all of this down. Go.
Well, listen, the key testimony against James Comey is going to come from his inner circle. One of the people that he trusted and ran the FBI alongside of will be the key witness saying, no, he authorized me to leak information contrary to what he testified to Congress. That's going to be a difficult case for James Comey to defend. I just want to step back. Yeah, well, it could be McCabe. It could be Daniel Ritchie. It could be James Baker. I keep an eye on James Baker. Remember the documents we had on your show a couple of weeks ago? All three of those are in position to testify they were authorized to leak. We'll see which one is person 3 when we in the indictment. But I would bet it's James Baker from what I know. The second thing that is just the pure magnitude of what happened today. 50 years ago this year, an attorney general was convicted for the first time in history of crimes. Tonight, for the first time in history, an FBI director is indicted on crimes, and both men face the same charges. False statements and obstruction of justice. It's an extraordinary moment, a grave moment, when a director of the FBI is accused of this level of criminality.
I got to tell you, Solomon's such a great reporter. He knows. They wouldn't have brought this case if they didn't have people flip on Comey. They're flipping. Comey's a criminal. Comey straight up lied to Congress. Comey changed his testimony. He leaked and he lied under oath. It's just a matter of fact. It's well documented, by the way. And you can go through. Alex, what's the right clip? What would be the right clip here? I want to show Comey lying under oath. I want to show the direct evidence of it. D. Okay. let's go here. I just like, before we move, because we have like a stacked show and we have a ton of work that we're going to do, and we have like some huge announcements, some amazing announcements. Might as well. We got to do it right now. Actually, got to do it right now because we'll miss our opportunity. We're going to Penn State. We are going to Penn State, and we are handing out 5,000 Charlie Kirk Freedom shirts. We are handing out 5,000 Charlie. We're giving them away. 5,000 Charlie Kirk Freedom shirts at Penn State versus Oregon. This was Charlie's favorite team, Oregon. He also loved Penn State. He had huge fans at Penn State. We're going to be giving these out. We're going to be registering voters. We're going to be hitting the bricks. We're going to be taking that energy. We're going to be turning bad energy into good. And we're going to be cementing the legacy of Charlie tomorrow at Penn State. And we got a bunch of work to do between now and then. And so we just thank you so very much for assisting us in this program. By doing this, by locking in, subscribing, watching, listening, you help us carry forward this mission. And we are profoundly thankful. We're going to be, this is just one of the first of many. I was on the phone, Klein heard it, I was on the phone plotting with Pressler. Me and Scott Pressler. Total besties. Me and Scott Pressler. We got schemes, baby. Get ready. We are going to carry forward this torch. Okay, speaking of somebody who torched their own career, I just want to show James Comey lying. I just want to show the direct primary source video of James Comey lying. Go.
Do you stand by your House testimony of March 20th that there was no surveillance of the Trump campaign that you're aware of?
Correct.
You would know about it if they were, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Tulsi Gabbard has come on our show with the direct source primary documents to prove that that is a demonstrable lie. Will James Comey be indicted for that one? Is that what Mike Davis is saying, that there's going to be more indictments? Let's go to the next one. Here we go.
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No. I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so smart to just not lie. It's a great attribute of people who like have mid-level IQs like me, because you can just, if you're just a normie, you know, if you're just a dude, which is me, I'm just like a dude. I'm just an American guy. Okay. If you're just a guy, if you're just a dude, you don't have to lie. If you think that you're super intelligent, or, you know, most of these people aren't actually that intelligent, but if you fancy yourself to be just such a smart person, you'll just keep making lies and you'll keep weaving all these narratives and you'll just get trapped. It's better to just tell the truth. People like it, people don't like it. Then you don't have to remember all the lies that you told. You don't have to like worry about all the traps you've set for yourself, because ultimately it's you who are going to suffer from those lies. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not suffer when I come home from work and I know that my wife is going to have one thing sitting on the table that is going to be, well, maybe my favorite dinner time treat is masa chips. I say this because my kids often hoover them up and eat them so quickly that sometimes I don't even get any. Masa Chips sends us a box of masa chips. It's actually at my house right now. The masa chips I had in the office, they're all gone because I eat them every single day. They are delicious. Not only that, they are freaking good for you. I know this because you can flip around the bag, and instead of what looks like a toxic sludge straight out of an oil skid, which is what a normal bag of chips looks like, 3 ingredients. That's it. Here's some corn. Here's some salt. Here's some beef tallow. No seed oils. Masa chips, man. They have a ton of different flavors. They're so delicious. We eat them for dinner. We have them during taco night. We have them during fajita night, whatever. My kids love them, and they make you feel good. You don't have that like bloated, like gross, like I just licked the bottom of an oil pan. Which is what other chips make you feel like, man. Go to Masa Chips. Go get these chips today. MasaChips.com/Benny. Use the code Benny for 25% off your first order. I never endorse something that I don't personally use. And when it comes to food or nutrition, like I am very picky. We had to try these things out. They had to go through my wife, which is like she's a medical professional, has an entire career based on lifestyle and health, better living, fully endorsed by the Johnson family. MasaChips.com/Benny. Use the code Benny for 25% off your first order. Okay, let's go. Oh, they say starting in October, they'll be available nationwide at Sprouts Supermarket. Good for you, Masa Chips. Okay, if you don't want to order online, they'll be at Sprouts. Okay, so something else that sprouted up in the news cycle, we have so much breaking news today, is that the FBI has straight up admitted that they now had hundreds, close to 300 undercover FBI agents in the crowds on January 6th. Unbelievable. Top line here, and then we'll be joined by John Strand, who probably was totally entrapped by these FBI agents. FBI secretly deployed more than 250 plainclothes agents at the U.S. Capitol during January 6, 2021 riot, an operation so disorganized that it unleashed searing frustrations among many of the FBI's rank and file. The Bureau had lost its core competencies to wokeness and allowed for its employees to become pawns of the political war, according to an after-action report kept from the public for more than 4 years. Scores of FBI agents and personnel, many from the Bureau's premier Washington field office, sent anonymous complaints to the after-action team, detailing how agents were sent into unsafe scenarios without proper equipment, safety, or training, or the ability to identify themselves readily to armed officers and police agencies. The report obtained by Just the News shows. The most persistent complaint was that the Bureau, during the James Comey and Chris Wray era, had become so infected with political biases and liberal ideology that it treated the protesters from the summer of 2020 Black Lives Matter riots far differently than those arrested in the aftermath of the January 6 episode. The FBI should make clear to its personnel and the public that despite obvious political bias, it ultimately still takes the mission and priorities seriously, one employee wrote in a review. It should equally and aggressively investigate criminal activity, regardless of the offender's perceived race, political affiliations, and motivations. They would equally aggressively protect Americans regardless of perceived race or political affiliations. That agent urged the FBI to identify viable exit options for FBI personnel who no longer feel legally or morally acceptable to support federal law enforcement because of their political bias. Yes. Goodness gracious. What a massive bombshell. Any other show, James Comey wasn't indicted, this would be, we'd lead with this for a week, and I think we're going to be investigating this for weeks now. Confirmed. Fed's direction. Talking here about, like, morally acceptable to support federal law enforcement. Well, how many FBI agents were actually fighting federal law enforcement? How many FBI agents were breaking into the U.S. Capitol? Hey, Alex, you got to go to John Strand's account on X, and you got to get some of the videos that he's been posting about these clearly fed undercover agents that were smashing in the windows, that were busting in the doors, that were inciting and carrying people into the Capitol. John Strand, ladies and gentlemen, joins the program right now. He is an activist. He's a patriot. He's someone who loves his country dearly. He's someone who was singing beautifully at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. We were able to reconnect with him, and it's a great honor to have him on the program today. He is an aggrieved and entrapped American patriot who was most likely entrapped by the FBI on January 6th. Welcome to the show, John. All right. Hey, thank you, John. Welcome to the program. It's awesome to finally have you on, man.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be with you again.
Okay, so let's talk about this news this morning. How does this make you feel? Can you give people a little bit of your background with January 6th?
Yeah.
And then fast forward to the news today.
I could say, I told you so, but instead I'll just say what I've been saying for 4 years, Benny. January 6th was our American Reichstag fire, and that has been confirmed today. So my quick story, I'm originally an actor from Hollywood, was working in Los Angeles during COVID. The life turned upside down, of course, and I fought back against tyranny at that time. And I got to start working with a nonprofit called America's Frontline Doctors, which helped reveal the truth about the COVID lies. We were scheduled, along with multiple Congress people, at an event that had a government-approved permit to give speeches on January 6th, which is why I was there that day. And then, of course, thanks to approximately 275 and counting undercover operatives, we were entrapped, swept into the building, and the rest of our lives have been turned upside down, dismantled, firebombed, and destroyed for all practical intents and purposes. Personally, I was sent to prison. DOJ tried to put me in prison for almost a decade. I'm not kidding you. And my particular story was unique because I refused to take a plea deal. Most J6ers weren't able to overcome that hurdle because of all the corruption at the DOJ and the reality of facing multiple 20-year felonies and et cetera. So the government pile drived over 1,000 American citizens into cooperating with one of the most deep, dark, complex, dirty lies in American history and strung them up as forced confessions to back up this lie. So the FBI undercover operation that has been exposed today is just the tip of a very dirty, weaponized government spear. And there is much more blood dripping down from that operation and machination. So the legal aspect of what happened, as well as the operational aspect of what happened, is going to blow people's minds. This is just the beginning. And this is our J6 turning point. This is it.
Yes. So it really does confound the senses as to how they could keep this secret for so long. It seems like they have just trampled on your rights. And some of the videos, pop up this one. I want to see the guy. Yeah, the dude in the black mask with the earpiece.
It's unbelievable. Ripping
the window open so that they could. So the guy in clear Fed tactical gear that is opening up the Capitol windows.
And then reaching over and grabbing an innocent bystander to frame it on him. You see it in real time.
It's incredible. And then he blames that guy for opening the window.
Exactly. And that's
Amazing.
so representative of the entire J6 lie. The innocent, patriotic Americans standing there were framed as the criminals. We were the victims.
So what happens? I mean, at this point, you're looking at something that needs some real restitution. There needs to be truth and reconciliation commissions. I'm telling you, I've seen it already. Democrats have stopped defending or bringing up January 6th at all. They've dropped it entirely. So we monitor these things really closely. And there has been zero conversation about January 6th. They've been told, and they've been trained like dogs, right, to froth at the mouth whenever they ring the January 6th bell. I've never seen anything like it. A total and complete hot potato. In the media landscape, you're looking at someone who has directed them to stop talking about it. That it's time to end signaling to the American public that January 6th was an insurrection. The op is over. What do you think happens next?
I'm going to go back to scripture. It says, those who live by the sword will die by the sword. So they weaponized a Reichstag fire entrapment event to stab and slaughter MAGA Americans and patriotic Americans of any political affiliation, really, if they didn't align with the regime. And they have been attacking us and destroying our lives with this lie. And that is going to become the weapon that is turned on them because the truth is coming out. Lies are faster, Benny, but the truth is stronger.
Well, yes.
No, go
Please
ahead.
Continue. My apologies. Please continue.
No, it's just to say that this is our J6 turning point. I believe that. We have been waiting for that. We have been suffering for that. They tried to put me in prison for almost a decade, sent me there for about 3 years. I was vindicated by the United States Supreme Court and then completely exonerated of all charges because I refused to take the plea, which is a total miracle. But the miracle is based on the truth. Miracles come from God. They are supernatural, but God is truth. He will never abide lies. So when a miracle happens, it isn't a fake thing. It's a true thing. And the miracle of my exoneration in J6 and the miracle of President Trump being reelected, saved by a millimeter miracle when that bullet grazed his ear, coming back into the seat of power that the American people properly elected him to begin this turnaround, to start our great American comeback. All of this is miraculous. All of this points to the truth that God is real and that he is sovereign and that he is good and that he has hope and a future for America if we turn to him. So this is our turning point. This is our J6 turning point. And I am battled and bruised and bloodied by this, as are over 1,500 Americans that I try to speak for and advocate for. People can check out wearej6.com, where we actively share truth and advocate for restitution for these people who have had their lives destroyed. The stories are shocking. You can see many of them at the top of my X profile. But Penny, the mission is just beginning to expose the full set of lies, share the truth, and bring justice back to America for J6 and for the entire nation, because January 6th is representative of a weaponized government and an entrenched system of lies and corruption, and just an inversion of our constitutional republic. And we have to reclaim it now. President Trump is just the leader right now, but this American enterprise belongs to every one of us as citizens. We have a duty and an obligation to engage in the reclamation and revival of this country, this nation, one nation under God. And that's the moment we're in. And I'm very excited about it.
what would you personally like to see happen to feds who entrapped Americans that day? The FBI obviously is reeling. They sent all these undercover agents. They lied about it. Many of those undercover agents were clearly politically weaponized in order to try and entrap you, and most likely committed illegal acts. Did you, and by the way, two-part question, did you witness? Do you believe that you witnessed any feds committing illegal acts that day?
I actually do. The only single element of actual quote unquote vandalism that I personally witnessed during the day, the only one, which seems crazy because now we see a billion video clips of all kinds of things. But in real time, when I'm on the ground, it was a large, peaceful, boisterous, excited, good-hearted crowd. I did not see animosity, anger. I did not see violence. I saw none of that until I was caught in a crowd, stuck, and then we were attacked by police while we were stuck on the east doors. The one exception is I saw someone packed up by that front Columbus door right before it got open from the inside. I saw someone grab a tool that was passed up from the back. You couldn't move in the crowd, but someone passed over, a screwdriver or something like that, so that this guy could try to break the window. He didn't actually successfully break the window, but he was banging on it. And I thought, that doesn't seem like a MAGA protester. That seems like a plant. That seems like an agent provocateur. So that was my one example. Now I see many, many clips, but at the time I didn't witness hardly any of that. But I do believe it was happening with 2020. Hindsight is 2020. And
in conclusion here, John, what would you like to see happen to the feds who did actually break the law that day?
So this is America, where we live by the rule of law. So I, like most Americans, would simply like to see the rule of law upheld equally, fairly, judiciously, swiftly, and without apology. But I think that needs to start at the top, Benny. I think the standard is higher for those that are given power over others. And so this arrest of James Comey is just the start. We need to see a lot more. We need to see it swiftly and surely, without hesitation. And the hammer of American justice needs to come down heavy, because we have been waiting long, hard, and painfully suffering to see this day come.
Well, don't say swiftly too loudly, John, because James Comey is a Swiftie, and he might get excited. And he's going to have a ton of time, in maybe 10 years, actually, in his own little private prison cell to listen to all of Taylor's new songs. And so we're very excited for that for James. He brags about being a Swiftie. He's so proud of it.
They didn't give me any Taylor Swift when I was in prison, Benny. Just a lot of really dangerous criminals screaming incessantly to the point that I hyperventilated in isolation. It was horrific. So
it's gallows humor. We don't mean to make light of it. We simply mean to take the bad energy and turn it into good energy. It's something that you certainly have done, and I encourage everybody to go over here and follow John Strand. Here's his X account. He has close to 150,000 subscribers. Let's make sure that we're pouring energy into those who are fighting for us and are doing it in such a defiant and powerful way. Amen. John Strand, thank you so much for being on the program.
Benny, thank you. God bless you, and keep up the fight for the American Republic. We are going to win. God bless you.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are using your cellular devices, well, there's probably going to be a Fed listening in on the other end of the line. I mean, yeah, it's funny how these cellular companies have fought the Feds on the J6 pipe bomber. We're going to talk to Julie Kelly about that. Turns out that dude, the J6 pipe bomber who's sitting there on his phone, yapping, that seems to be the only phone that the Feds couldn't hack into. Isn't that amazing? On January 6th. Isn't that something? I don't pretend to know enough about it. I don't work for a telecom company to comment, but it does seem strange to me that these major carriers are like, his data wasn't corrupted. We know exactly who that guy is. Why can't we get all that information? Ooh, baby, Julie Kelly's going to talk with us about it. Here's all I'm trying to say here. Make sure that when you are using a cellular device, you are not using the device on a network that hates you, okay? And these cellular companies, these big tech companies, they were out just with the Feds as well to go get J6ers. Go to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile, man, what an awesome company. The only Christian conservative wireless provider. They are available on all three major networks. They are rock solid company that keeps us connected on the road. We're going to be traveling a lot on this program. We already had a stacked fall, and it just got way more stacked. And Patriot Mobile is going to be with us everywhere we go. Unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, and international roaming. internet backup, and so much more. Make the switch today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Benny for a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Speaking of calling a patriot, let's call up Julie Kelly right now. Let's go. Oh, Julie, what a special day to have you on our program. I've dreamed. I've had like dreams about a day like this to have you on the show. You've been vision casting for years on this show for this exact moment, and so the floor is yours. What say you about January 6th or James Comey? I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start, Julie. I'll just let you choose your own adventure. James Comey or January 6th?
I'm going to start with something first personal to you, because this is the first time I've been on your show since what happened to Charlie. And I want to commend you, my friend. You have done your friend so proud. And I can't imagine how tough it has been for you, for Jack Posobiec, my other friend. But I just want to say on behalf of myself and all of your friends and viewers, how much we appreciate you continuing to soldier on through your own grief and anger. So I'm just proud of you and proud to be your friend. And we know that Charlie would be loving this moment as much as we are.
Yes.
I thought about him
Julie,
last night.
Julie, can I just say, like you have to turn bad energy into good energy. Otherwise, it just stays bad energy. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going to sit, in this. I never watched Charlie do that. I never watched him sulk. I never saw it. Charlie damn well knew in 2020 when we watched that rigged election, he knew that would mean investigations for Turning Point. It did. Yeah. Social media censorship. It did. Deplatforming for him. It did. It would mean his donors got scared. It did. Charlie had so much to lose. And I never saw him downtrodden. I never saw him demoralized. I never saw him weep or blubbering in a pile on the floor. Never. In fact, he would take us up and he would say, we go 50 times harder. This is a challenge from God. And so it would be actually disrespectful to engage in that kind of behavior right now. We go 50 times harder now.
We do. And I thought about him last night. I was on his show quite a bit, and I was looking back and how generous he was, just like you, just like Jack Posobiec, Tucker, and others. But he covered my book when it came out in January 2022, and he had me on a show for a half an hour. And that's when J6 was still no one would touch it. And he was so courageous. He did not care. He felt in his heart that these people were being mistreated. That's why we worked on J6 pardons together on behalf of the president. And he really knew deeply how wrong everything was and how suspicious it was. So again, to get back to, he would be grinning that Charlie Kirk smile ear to ear, loving it. We would all be celebrating today. And I do think that this is part of making sure that we live up to Charlie's legacy, and those who are trying to tear down our country and destroy it are held accountable. And that's why this Jim Comey indictment, I think, is a very important first step towards that. Because yes, he is one of the most malicious, vengeful, vindictive, destructive people that has ever served in government. And he is getting only a taste of what he deserves. But again, this is a good start.
So is there going to be any defense here? According to John Solomon, they have a number of insiders who have turned against James Comey and will have primary source documents saying, no, he authorized all these clearly illegal leaks. Then he lied about the illegal leaks. Now, James Comey being an illegal leaker, we already know the 2019 DOJ report confirmed that James Comey illegally leaked internal documentation against FBI policy. So that's not even up for question. That's already been exposed. But then lying to Congress, of course, is a crime.
Correct. So I was heartened to see the obstruction of Congress charge. Now, look, there also can be what's called a superseding indictment. And this is what they did to President Trump in the documents case. And of course, we saw this over and over in January 6 cases. So this is a start. They could, the DOJ, because we know how controversial this was. We know that there was internal resistance at the Eastern District of Virginia U.S. Attorney's Office, just like we saw in the Southern District of New York in dismissing the Eric Adams case. So Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, everyone is up against, on our team, up against the systemically corrupt establishment DOJ that was trying to sabotage this indictment moving forward. And luckily, the U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert, his number two, Maya Song, who used to work for Lisa Monaco and was moved to that office in October. And of course, we know Jim Comey's son-in-law, Troy Edwards, was also in that office. So luckily, they got the indictment in right under the wire. And so there could be more charges against Jim Comey. We know that there are other investigations pending for some of his sidekicks, like John Brennan. But to your point, Benny, we know that Jim Comey is a serial leaker. We know that he lied in 2017 in sworn testimony and in 2020. He had his buddy Dan Richman, the Columbia law professor, who leaked that memo about the discussion with about Mike Flynn with the president in February 2017. Richmond leaked that memo to the New York Times. Richmond was a special government employee at the FBI. He was there solely as the conduit for Jim Comey to get away with leaking to the media. And that was especially successful after the president won. Dan Richmond did testify. He was subpoenaed. He did testify to the grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia earlier this month. I think that was one of the charges that the grand jury did not bring. But certainly this is not good news for Jim Comey. And I've heard that the evidence against him is very strong. We know that it is. So we'll see what happens from here.
Very quickly before, and it's interesting that you name drop Mike Flynn because he's on, he just entered the green room, so he'll be up next. So you're setting up a beautiful conversation there. Okay. What happens next, Julie? You've been so good at handicapping these things for us and breaking down because you're the only one who's sat through these J6 proceedings. You physically are there in the courtroom, so you're able to absorb so much. None of this stuff ever gets broadcast. You're able to not only bring it to us in full living color, but then break it down. What is your professional assessment of what happens next to James Comey?
So I believe he will be arraigned on October 9th. I've heard he's going to turn himself in. That's fine. He has hired Patrick Fitzgerald, who was the U.S. attorney here in Northern Illinois, who indicted Rod Blagojevich. And I believe that Jim Comey, Patrick Fitzgerald, I think is one of his daughter's godfathers or something like that. So that's who he will be represented by. A Biden appointee did draw this case. I don't know enough about the judge to know. So we'll just kind of have to watch the docket from here. But I have heard from sources that, again, and what the president said, I believe this morning, is more indictments against other bad actors are coming. The investigation into the corrupt deep state is ongoing. And I'm certain that people like John Brennan, who so brashly go on MSNBC and play the victim, and there's nothing there. I'm sure their knees are knocking a little bit this weekend, and they put their lawyers on speed dial because this is, and I want to commend the team who did this, the FBI investigators, the president who really pushed this, and then of course the new U.S. attorney there.
So yeah, I mean, they really are doing the Simpsons meme where Bart is complaining that this is the worst day of his life. And Homer says, no, it's the worst day of your life so far. Don't worry. It can get worse. Mike Davis said it yesterday, Dear Comey, this is just your first trial. There will be many, many more. What can we expect for many more for James Comey? Because this is what they did with Trump, right? They piled on the charges. It seemed to be, there was a season between 2022 and 2023 where it seemed like every month there was a new Trump trial and a new Trump indictment. Do you think that's going to happen to Comey and Deep State ETAL?
I think that's very possible. I do think that this is just the first shot across the bow. Excuse me. I'm getting over a cold.
It's that season. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. We do video breaks. We sometimes do video breaks so I can grab my water. Yeah.
Yes.
If you need a break, Julie, just let us know. We have
I do.
Okay. We have very low key. Julie off. Thank you, Klein. Julie off. All right. She'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, exciting times. And I wanted to get to Greg Jarrett, so we might as well just do that right now. Greg Jarrett is a homie who has really sharp takes on what's going on right now. He's on Fox. He's a legal expert, a lawyer himself, and he's been following this closer than virtually anyone. And his reaction is, I think it just rings like a bell. Here we go.
I would say that James Comey he should consider himself fortunate that many of his suspected crimes, and it could fill a phone book, are barred by the statute of limitations. But, like Richard Nixon, it's always the cover-up that does you in, lying to Congress, obstructing its investigation, which Comey did over and over and over again, all the way up to 2020, which is within the 5-year statute of limitations. He was infamous in Washington as a prodigious leaker. He would do it to burnish his own image, inflate his ego, but mostly to smear the man he so despised, Donald Trump. He would authorize others like Andrew McCabe, James Baker, to leak sensitive material to the media. Sometimes Comey did it himself through a conduit, notably stealing FBI documents when he was fired and then secretly giving them to his friend Daniel Richman, who handed them off secretly to a reporter. The Comey's denials are on videotape. You played some of them, and prosecutors, indeed, as John points out, have witnesses who are already on the record. So this is a narrowly defined case. You know, I had to laugh when I saw Comey rush to a camera tonight to claim the mantle of victimhood while anointing himself as America's greatest hero. He thinks he's fearless in the face of a tyrant. It was classic Comey, vainglorious, self-righteous, sermonizing. The dissonance is striking. This is the guy who did more damage to the FBI and our system of justice and a presidency than anyone ever. So his defense will be, oh, gee, you know, I am a victim of a political prosecution and lawfare. The irony should be lost on no one, Sean.
All the people that we trust, all the smart people. And again, we have General Flynn lined up. Julie Kelly will join us back and close us out of this block. And we have Laura Trump also on the program. All the people that we respect, people that have never lied to us, that have literally lived these cases and breathed these cases, say James Comey is in deep, deep trouble. Mike Davis yesterday saying that James Comey needs a tailor. He needs a 6'6" orange jumpsuit tailor. General Flynn has said something very, very similar. When James Comey is in prison, then he's going to need somebody to, well, watch his back, right? Everybody needs to make sure that when you are, you know, going about the business of life, that in the background, things are taken care of, okay? From our perspective, that looks like Alio Capital. When we're on doing the show, we're live, we're letting her rip. We got to make sure that when we are locked in the studio, and this is all we do, right? We are like just focused in on this and building up these channels and building up this movement and providing positive energy. You got to make sure that our investments, my investments personally, are being managed correctly, that they're fluid, that we're not missing opportunities. Alio Capital takes care of me, and they can take care of you from a macro or a micro perspective. Maybe you want to be super hands-on. That's totally fine by me. I'm not a huge control freak. Like, I like hiring really smart and good people and letting them go to work. And so that's what Alio Capital does for me, man. Alio Capital uses AI to shift and adjust my portfolio and make sure that my investments are doing the smartest things. Download their app today in the App Store or Google Play. Text my name, Benny, to 511-511. That's ALLIO Capital, Benny, to 511-511, and download the Alio Capital app today. Text Benny to 511-511. Okay. Julie is back. Let's revisit Julie in this season. I have my own water bottle right here.
Okay.
I have like 5 on the table because of the exact same thing, and a hot tea this morning. So
I have that too. Yeah.
It's fall, you know, it's fall, allergies and so on. Julie, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'll set you right back up with the same question, which is, what do you expect? Do you foresee prison time for James Comey?
I do foresee a conviction here. I mean, it will be tough because this is still sort of in a blue area in Alexandria, Virginia, that sort of jury pool. I wonder if he'll try to move it out of the Eastern District of Virginia. So I don't know. Well, They'll play a lot of games. He's got a very good attorney, Patrick Fitzgerald. They know the system, those two, better than anyone. So, but I do think that it's pretty obvious. He will at least get a conviction on that false statement because we know that it's false. And we know that James Comey is a liar, an inveterate liar, and he has lied under oath, just like so many of his associates. And Benny, I think that's why this indictment is so gratifying. We are so frustrated at watching these bad actors get away with crimes such as perjury when others did not. And I mean, Mike Flynn will speak to this better than anyone else.
Yes.
So it is what really is making me laugh now, Benny, is the mainstream media, people like Fusion Ken Deladian, at NBC News, who is just absolutely melting down that the DOJ is being weaponized and politicized by the president to target his political enemies. I mean, this is the guy who was cheering Special Counsel Jack Smith's 2 criminal indictments, bogus indictments against the president and his associates, Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, everyone who is hauled before that grand jury in Washington, D.C., 1,600 Trump supporters who protested Joe Biden's election on January 6th. And to see the media now so dishonestly claim that this is unprecedented. We even saw that headline in the Wall Street Journal this week. This is unprecedented, a president using his DOJ this way. So I think the outcry, again, the deceptive spin by the media, I think we should all get a good chuckle out of that too, because they can't believe or buy their own spin, right? They can't really think that we missed the last 4, 6, 8, 10 years of what the DOJ and FBI tried to do to the president and the MAGA movement. So I think that's a little extra icing on the cake for us.
Okay, so just take us out here, Julie, very quickly. FBI news, there was 300 undercover FBI agents at the United States Capitol during January 6th. They're complaining to Just the News. This is not breaking on Just the News. You've covered this better than anyone. I have to give you an opportunity to sound off here. What is this going to mean for the FBI? Could this potentially mean like another full-scale investigation in the actions of the feds on January 6th?
I'll be honest, Benny, I was so mired in all the Comey information last night and getting a piece up on my Substack. I haven't really looked at that piece yet. Mm-hmm. We do know, of course, there were informants. There were undercover employees from every law enforcement agency in Washington, D.C. So I have to see, we do know that FBI agents were deployed to the Capitol after the protests started. So I really have to see, I know there's like 50 pages of communication. So I'm going to take a look at that and hopefully I'll be able to get back to you and talk to you about that again, maybe next week.
Yes, wonderful. Please follow Julie Kelly. Here is her X account. You most likely already do. She's well on her way to 1 million subscribers here on X, and you should also subscribe to her Substack. This is Declassified with Julie Kelly, and you can see the crying James Comey there as the top line. There's that's beautiful use of AI right there. James Comey probably is crying on his little ring light with his little shirt and tie that he never changes, and he's a proud Swiftie. We love that clip. We're so thankful that James Comey published that. Proud Swiftie, James Comey. Swift justice? We'll see. Julie Kelly, thank you. Godspeed.
Thanks, Benny.
Ladies and gentlemen, General Flynn joining the show live needs absolutely no introduction, so let's go. General Flynn, thank you so much for being on the program. We're just rip-roaring here, and this has got to be quite the day for you. You were, of course, the person that James Comey was leaking about. So technically, in part, you had a major role in James Comey getting indicted today because he was authorizing leaks about you, and then he lied about them.
Yeah.
It's got to be quite the feeling.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, I think, for the country, and actually, Benny, sitting here with you today and having watched everything going on over the last decade almost, but certainly these last couple of days with this the information about Comey being indicted and then he's indicted, it's actually very heartbreaking for me. Okay, so I'm not sitting here today to gloat on Comey or any of these other criminals and frankly socialist Marxists that are in our government. This is a very difficult time for the United States of America. It's a historic moment. And, I wrote the other night, or I wrote to some friends last night, that this is not about we're not one generation away, as Ronald Reagan said, we're one presidency away from losing this country. So this indictment of Comey is a bellwether for others that will be down the road here. Once Comey realizes that it's not looking good, and that he could face prison time, that then will the pressure come on him to expose many of these others? And I do believe that the grand jury probably has had and heard from people. The grand jury that allowed for this indictment probably have heard from people that are close to Comey. Some are probably whistleblower types. Others might be people that were in the administration that worked directly with him. We don't know if James Clapper was one of them. We don't know if other people. I'm certain that would probably leak. But the other thing too, a little tactical detail, Benny, about who's going to represent Comey, whoever it is, Fitzgerald or whatever, who these people are. These people have unlimited resources. They have more money than most governments have. So don't feel sorry that Jim Comey's going to, and his family are going to be hurting for financial support going through this indictment process and this trial process. But it's heartbreaking. Now, sort of where are we? Where are we going as a nation, and what is happening to our country? Because Comey is, when you look back at all of these things, and you just had Julie Kelly on. Julie's great and has been, writing quite a bit about it, and we all get out there and post different things, and I get emotional at times, and I get, I get very serious about some of the things that are happening. But I do want your audience, and I want America to know that this is just starting. This is just the beginning, and I do feel that we are a little bit behind the power curve. I do feel that we have not used the momentum that we probably had this past summer. And maybe it was because they wanted to make sure that, some T's were crossed and I's dotted, that kind of thing. And that's fine. If that's the reason or the excuse, that's fine. But there are so many other problems that we are going to have to deal with in addition to starting. This is just the beginning. This is starting to gut the deep state, right? But the deep state, you got Pete Hegseth calling in every single flag officer in the Department of Defense, and one of the reasons is because it's to gut the deep state inside of the Department of Defense after the murder, the brutal murder, which most Americans still don't trust what has been stated about Charlie Kirk's death. So I'll put that on the table. But the amount of people just in the Department of Defense, never mind the whole of government, that came out and were spewing vitriol, that are working for the government, that took the oath of office, for work inside the government, that were spewing hatred, not just about Charlie, but about life in general and being an American. I mean, we have serious problems. Comey is the poster child, because he's not only a former, deputy attorney general, former prosecutor. He's also the former director of the FBI, right? An institution, Benny, and I love Cash and I love Dan, and I don't know Bailey, but Bailey, who's in there. The American people still do not trust that organization. They do not trust many organizations in government, and for good reason. And we now have an opportunity, and I think that it's time that we have to take it. The people in our government, this includes Donald J. Trump himself. Okay, he tries to be as transparent as possible, and he says certain things on Truth Social, right? And that's well and good. He does this with he signs off on an executive order, and he does this number from the Resolute desk. Good, I love it. But now you have to execute all those things that matter. If he says go after somebody, or if he says go release somebody from prison, or if he says, to a country in, south of us here in Venezuela, you better get ready. If he says to Qatar or Hamas in the Middle East, you better get those hostages released. People below him, people within Trump's orbit, have to then step up and start to act. There, in the military, we always say what gets checked gets done, and Donald Trump does not have the ability to be able to check every single thing that is going on in this very complex and sometimes very chaotic world. So back to Jim Comey. Jim Comey is he's the poster child for Russiagate. He is the poster child for how this country, went through a coup, and we are still in the midst of it. So do not think that because Jim, I want everybody to everybody can. I got all kinds of people sending me cards and letters, Benny, about, hey, this is great. This vindicates you. No, this is terrible. Our country is in a weakened state right now. Okay. And I love Donald J. Trump. There's nobody that has stood up for him more than I have. I love the man, and I think that he's a great president. And he's exactly the type of person we need right now in history, because he is a non-politician. But the political class in Washington, D.C., they can't stand him. They want nothing to do with Donald Trump. They want to get rid of him. I mean, we've had 4 years now of a Congress run by Republicans, Benny. And what have they done? The judiciary, they never sent anything over to the Department of Justice about Comey. They've known all this stuff all along. We were what, 2 days from the statute of limitations? We already went past the statute of limitations on other things. So Comey was in the meetings that we now know of on the 8th of December of 2016 and the 5th of January of 2017 with Barack Obama. Okay. The guy who's kind of the quarterback, if you will, is Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the quarterback, and he was directed by others, but let's just say Barack Obama is the quarterback. The people that were in those meetings, and Jim Comey knows, everybody knows who was in those meetings now from all the various reports from Tulsi Gabbard, the Durham report, my own the investigation that we had that we exposed so much. The people that were in that meeting, they basically initiated a takeover of the United States of America, a Marxist leftist takeover. Do not think that these are just people that don't like Donald Trump and they wanted to get rid of Donald Trump. They wanted to totally destroy this country. There are many, many whistleblowers that have still come forward that have not been exposed yet, and that's good for them, that more and more information is going to come out, Benny. And it needs to come out, and it will come out. Some of it is sealed in grand jury. Some of it's sealed in court here in various court cases right now. But I'm telling you, this goes back to the Clinton Foundation. Not when Barack Obama took over in 2008. This goes back to the Clinton Foundation when it was originally stood up in the early 2000s by Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and then she comes in with Barack Obama. I mean, Benny, the story is just starting to be told because we have the opportunity to be able to tell the story. Now, what is Jim Comey going to do? Jim Comey, on his little video that he put out, he's signaling. He's signaling to everybody. It's the dog whistle, and maybe there's some threats that are put in there. We don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But it's certainly a signal to everybody. Hey, don't worry about this. We're going to be okay. We're not going to, it's not about I'm going to stand and fight. No, this is about whistling to the Marxist left in this country, the infiltration of our country by a very, very serious threat. And yeah, we can blame China. Yes, they're to blame partially. Yes, we can blame Russia. Yep, that's the idea of an ism that's called communism. There's also the rise of Islamism. I'm just, I'm sort of wave topping you here, Benny, a little bit with your audience, but I want your audience to understand. I mean, hey, I'm in the sort of the waning age group of your audience, right? I mean, your audience is generally a young crowd out there, and I want them to know that guys like me, guys like you, but there are others. We're standing up fighting, not for me. I don't give a shit about me at this point. What I care about is this country, because I have children and I have grandchildren, and we are going to have to fight through this. So I said to you because you and I talked on the phone this morning, and I appreciate the phone call, Benny. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. If people think that, oh, this is great, Comey's been indicted, wonderful, clap, pat yourselves on the back, brush the crap off of your shoes or put your running shoes on, because we all have got to start running now. This is just the beginning. And the beginning means that we are going to get to a place, and I'll shut up here in a second. We're going to get to a place where the Department of Justice has not cleaned itself up yet. I mean, how many people are starting to resign now that we're finding out that were somehow related to Jim Comey? Jesus, unbelievable. So this is just the beginning. And there will be others. There will likely be other indictments, and that's good. And we start to get at this leadership team. But we have such a cancer inside of our government right now, and that's at federal, state, and local. Because many people, as I've gone around this country, have told me, oh my God, our school board's this, our school board's that. We thought we solved it all when Donald Trump got elected. Absolutely not. My message to the American people is you better wake up to the fact that we all have a responsibility as citizens of this great country to serve this country. You don't just have to serve in the United States military. You can serve your country down at your community level. And that's my message to America. If people don't wake up and start serving this country in so many different ways, it does take sacrifice. That's what freedom costs. Freedom is not free. It requires sacrifice. It requires a lot of things. And Comey will be this. He'll be forever known as this guy who was the director of the FBI and tried to be part of a group that literally tried to take down the United States of America. That's what this is all about. If you can get Al Capone, who murdered, dozens of people on tax evasion, whatever, and throw him in prison, great. That's the sort of the analogy for Comey. If they got to get him for lying to Congress and squeeze him a little bit to get him to expose some of these other people, great. But now let's see the fiber that the Department of Justice and those prosecutors that are going to have to take this on. Let's see what kind of fiber they're made of.
General, I could just book you for the whole show. I just love talking with you so much, and you have such deep insight here. But we are up against a hard out, and we have to travel today. So I just want to lock down a final comment from you. Those who follow probably already know, but it's worth stating that James Comey saw you as such a massive threat. James Comey, and we've played the clip a million times, out bragging about how he attacked and targeted you personally, and how he sent FBI agents to you, and I think we all know why. That James Comey also is now being indicted because of leaks he made about you. He instructed Daniel Richmond to leak about you and Andrew McCabe to leak about you. That's how big of a threat it is. So actually, quite frankly, his irrational hatred of you is what led in part to his indictment today, which many experts are telling us he's not going to be able to get out of. They're going to get a conviction on this lying to Congress. And so given all of that, and given that you are the premier nexus point in this story, your message, not to Obama or Brennan, but to directly James Comey today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that James Comey, you're gonna go down in history as a former FBI director who tried to stage a takeover of the United States of America and basically take down a duly elected president of the United States of America. That's what he's going to be known as. He is a evil, treasonous SOB. And he knows it. I don't care how arrogant he can get, because he can get, very arrogant. But that's what he is. And it's not just him, but Comey, that's what he is. He really is a person who thinks he can actually do whatever he wants to do because he was in a position to do it. And that's where the American people need to understand. When we have to be very conscious of who it is that we are putting into power inside of our government, state, local, state, and federal, because these are the types of people that are in there now. And Comey is at the nexus of it, and he will be convicted. But let's see if he helps expose some of these other names that you just mentioned.
Yeah, we'll see. So you think flip Comey?
Yeah,
Maybe.
He's gonna have to. He's the
rat eat rat. General. That's right. No honor among thieves is what they say.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be remiss if I didn't send you off, General, without giving a full endorsement to Pete Hegseth, to our Secretary of War, to make General Flynn the Supreme Allied Commander. This is the full endorsement of this show and our 15 million followers and subscribers. We all support General Flynn as the new Supreme Allied Commander. Let's get the cheers going. This is what we all say, unified. General Flynn. That's what we hope this is all about with the Secretary of War.
We'll see, Benny. God bless you. Thank you very much.
He said we'll see. So you're saying there's a chance. Okay.
Jim Carrey.
You're saying there's a chance. All right. Thank you very much. Everyone follow General Flynn. You're already following him. 2.1 million followers. Get in there and fight with people who are fighting for us. Godspeed, General.
Godspeed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, someone else who needs absolutely no introduction, but who I am so honored to have on the show today. She is the brawler in the Trump family. Everyone's, oh, wow, Eric, man, Eric's very tall. He's very powerful and he's very stately. And Don Jr., man, he shares really dank memes. No, let me tell you a little something. The person you should be scared of is Laura Trump, okay? We have the honor of having personal relationships with some of the members of the Trump clan. Don't cross Laura Trump, and she joins the show live now. Laura, welcome back to the program.
What an intro, Benny. Holy smokes.
I'm right. You know I'm right. People are like, oh, she's smiling, she's blonde, she's fit, she can do a pull-up. Like, that's fine. No, man. Laura Trump is a savage.
If you know, you know. That's all I'll say about it. And so thank you. I appreciate it.
This man, James Comey, did so very much to torture your family and assisted, I think, in very much the dehumanization that we're seeing on the left right now of the right, the dehumanization that got bullets sent in the direction of your father-in-law's head, that took the life of Charlie Kirk this week, that led to a shooting at an ICE facility. And so I want justice here. And I think that actually it's justice that will turn the temperature down, quite frankly, on all of this. But that's just my take. The floor is yours, Laura.
Yeah, look, there has to be accountability. And I think that's what we're seeing happen now. It's a shame that our country has had to endure the past 9 years. And this is when this all started. Don't forget, this goes all the way back to Hillary Clinton, to the Steele dossier, to people within the FBI knowing full well that it was all phony and all fake. And they said, you know what, we'll go ahead and let this slide. It has put our country in such a bad spot, Benny. To your point, it has led us to the place we are right now. And you can't do things that are illegal. You can't perjure yourself. You can't lie to Congress. You can't do certain things that James Comey has done. And he very arrogantly, I think, has thought, well, no one's going to call me on this because I'm a pretty powerful guy or in the FBI. I can put 8647 and seashells on the beach and I can post a picture of it on social media. And I'm not going to really worry about it that much. That's distasteful and stupid. And I know he got visited by the Secret Service and asked about that, but you can't do things that are illegal. And unfortunately for him, he has done things that are illegal. And all we want in this country is accountability and justice. And, you look at an agency like the FBI and you think about the importance of it, Benny. You think about how important it is for people in this country to trust our fundamental and foundational institutions like the FBI. Their job is to keep Americans safe. And instead, under his leadership, it seems like they've done anything but that. It seems like he was doing anything except the job the FBI director is actually supposed to do while he was there in that office. And so we want to make sure people feel good about these institutions and these agencies when Donald Trump's tenure is up, at the very least. And if in the midst of that, people have broken the law, then as he said himself, no one, Benny, is above the law. And that includes James Comey.
I'm so glad that you brought this up. Here's the post. This is a direct death threat, according to all available nomenclature and understanding. This is James Comey placing seashells. He took the time to really do this and make a death threat. And in this current environment, we now know exactly how serious this is. This is a threat against your father-in-law, but also a threat against your family. And you just have such a important position here, Laura, because you've been able to witness it from the inside. We've all witnessed these threats against your family sort of from the outside collectively as a movement, but you saw it up close. You've been in the room when it happens, when your father-in-law is arrested, when your husband, who I think is the most subpoenaed man on earth.
Correct.
When those subpoenas come down, the attacks against your family. So this has got to have some special significance for you today from the inside.
Well, yeah, look, I think you look over the past 9 or 10 years, and it's been a crazy ride. And there were so many times where, as you're pointing out, there were some real lows out there. There were moments where we just said, what is happening? How is this even possible that these things are happening? And now we know that there were so many bad actors and people with bad intentions who really didn't care about the law here in America, who didn't care about our Constitution, who didn't care about the American people, because they were willing to do things that have never been done before and are so damaging and so dangerous to the future of our country. But you're right, specifically to our family. Yes. And so, look, I think that if people are going to finally get their due, it's not up to me. It's up to the courts. It's up to our legal system and the processes that will play out. But a grand jury felt like he'd done enough, that they needed to indict him. And so here we are today. And look, there are a lot of people who've done some really dumb things, but you can't do dumb things when you're in a position of power and a position of influence, like a lot of these people have, and think that your decisions to do it aren't going to have any repercussions. As you pointed out, there have been 2 assassination attempts against my father-in-law. Our friend Charlie Kirk is no longer here today because of the way these people have acted and operated. And, as a citizen of this country, I want to see the wrongs righted. I want to see people held accountable, and I want to see justice finally served. And so, it's an interesting time to be alive in America today. I think we'll all look back on this time and say, man, we lived through some wild stuff, but it was because the American people believed in this president who put people who actually want to follow the law in positions to do so, and in these positions of power, that hopefully all of the nasty, crazy stuff that's happened is exposed. We want to shine light in the dark places. We want to disinfect all of this, clean it out. It's such a rot and such a heavy, just disgusting weight that's been on our country for so long. I'm ready to see it all go.
Yes, and I'm ready to post this photo every second of every day for those who say we've never seen anything like it before. No one's ever gone after the innocent people for political reasons before. I'm just like, everyone was in a coma for the last 4 years, and you witnessed it. Obviously, you saw what they were doing. There was a season between 2022 and 2023 where President Trump was indicted, with seemingly every single month, in what now has been proven to be all fake charges, all of them. Not a single one of them stuck. Fake charges, unlike the charges that were read against your father-in-law's assassin, just in Florida, just this past week, just 2 days ago, when they tried to kill. Those are real charges. That guy really tried to kill President Trump. And so perhaps you could sound off on the dichotomy between real and actual threats, true justice, versus whatever the hell this was.
Yeah, well, they had to go through such legal gymnastics in order to concoct some of these charges. You had people like Alvin Bragg, who was supposed to be the district attorney of New York City. This is the biggest city in our country. If nothing else, you want to protect the citizens of New York City, get the bad guys off the street, make sure you don't have criminals running around, people getting pushed in front of subway trains, women getting, murdered, the whole thing. But instead, he had to go back and manipulate the law and figure out any way he could get Donald Trump in a courtroom in downtown Manhattan. These people wasting their time on that nonsense put, law-abiding citizens and people who just tried to live their lives every day in danger. And, you can look at what they did to my father-in-law and our entire family and be pissed off about it, because we all are. It was wrong. It never should have happened. But then on the other side of that, you got to ask yourself, well, what people actually were in danger? What people were injured? What people were murdered based on the fact that these individuals like Alvin Bragg, like Fannie Willis down in Fulton County, Georgia, weren't actually focused on protecting their citizens. They were focused on this political garbage, because that's exactly what it is. And what kind of country are we ultimately if we let this happen and then we just say, you know what, we're just going to move on? We're not going to actually do anything about this. It was a tough time. It shouldn't have happened. But you know what? It's over. Let's just move on. Let's turn the other cheek. We have to fix this. This is literally the infection that is rotting our country. It has to be cleaned out. It has to be dealt with. All the people who did something wrong in this entire space, we all want accountability for. And I think that's at the very base of this, what the American people demanded on November 5th of 2024, when they overwhelmingly elected Donald Trump to be president again and swept the table for Republicans. They said, we're done with these lunatics on the left. We're done with this lawfare. We're done with these very un-American things that none of us recognize and none of us have ever seen happen, thank God, until now. And the time has come. People who have done the wrong thing, they probably should be nervous right now, because I can tell you, if you've broken the law, somebody is going to make sure that you're held to account.
Your personal message to James Comey today, Laura?
Well, you know what? I hope he takes a long, hard look at himself in a mirror, and I hope he starts to realize
I think
that
he likes doing that, actually.
He does love doing that. We know he loves doing it. Record a video, maybe play it back for yourself, whatever you need to do. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I hope you are ashamed of yourself, because the things you have done to my father-in-law, but to the entire country, are shameful. You were given a platform by which you should have been able to tell every American, look them in the eyes and say, I'm here to protect you. I'm here doing the job of FBI director for you, and I'm protecting American citizens. Instead, you played games, you played politics, and you did the wrong thing. And now, you know what? Whatever happens to you, whatever the legal system deems appropriate, I will allow it to bear out. But I hope he's ashamed of himself, and I hope he's really thinking seriously about the past 9 years of his life. And it's never too late to do the right thing. It's never too late to come forward and confess and say, I did all of these things wrong and I'm sorry about them, to apologize to America. Maybe this is the time to do that.
Maybe you could take a little bit of that Erica Kirk energy and just finally say, you know what? I I'm sorry. Right? Like you could
never
come
too
to
late.
terms. Yeah, that's exactly right. You could come to terms with it for the sake of your mortal soul. I mean, quite frankly, it's a spiritual battle. I want to just leave with this, and maybe on a high note, Laura, a spiritual battle that you've been fighting and winning. It is obviously your family and your beautiful children who you share with the world by posting about your family life on social media. I think that's so critical. It's something that Charlie wanted us to constantly message about, which is being good fathers, being good parents, being mothers, wanting to carry forward the incredible legacy that was left to us by having children and instilling our values in them. And it's something that we've been talking about a lot. And since you and your husband, Eric, are so great at messaging this, I just wanted to give you in closing here an opportunity to just talk to the audience about that, maybe young women, about what this means to you, how important it is.
Well, I'll tell you, Benny, I've had a lot of titles, and I expect for the rest of my life I will hold some other great titles. There is no title that will ever compare to the importance of mom. It is the most important job I have ever had. It is the most rewarding job I have ever had. And I think it's because this is what we're supposed to do. And I have to tell you, to all you women out there who say, I don't know, I'm not sure if I feel like I want to have kids. I was one of those people, believe it or not. And Eric had to be the one to say, all right, we got to get going on like having kids, and kind of push me into it. And every day I look at my children and I am so grateful that he did it when he did. And we have these two beautiful kids. There's nothing greater you will ever do with your life than to shape and mold the future of this country. And we do that by having children and leading them and showing them the way and showing them through the example of us as their parents, how to be and what to do and how to be great people and citizens of this country. And, it's the most rewarding blessing you will ever have. And so I encourage everybody out there, don't think twice about it. You'll never regret it. You will never regret having a child, having multiple kids, which I'm going to get myself in hot water here because Eric Trump would love to have another kid, Benny. And so he's going to clip this and send it to me and say, well, why don't we go ahead and have number 3? But I digress. Do it. You'll never regret it. Greatest thing I've ever done and most rewarding.
That sounds like an announcement. I'll leave that for the internal deliberations. I want number 5 in our household. Yes, I want number 5 in our. I'm proud to announce I want number 5 in our household. We're just so unbelievably thankful for that answer. I think more people need to hear it. It's such truly, like Charlie always viewed the political battles as emblematic of the actual cultural battles that we were fighting that were far more important. Politics would be downstream of culture, right? As Andrew Breitbart would say. And so the cultural battle is, are we starting families? Do we have something to live for? Do you have a connection to Christ, our Lord and Savior? And can you then create a family, right, that is Christ-centered? And so that's truly the way that you win. And it's something that I want to always constantly message. And I'm so glad that your family does this and shares this. We are going to be, I know I've told you about it, we are going to be giving away 5,000 Charlie Kirk Freedom shirts at the Penn State game tomorrow. 5,000. Turning Point booth. We're going to be registering voters. Laura, I know the Trumps send their love to this. They fully endorse this event.
Yes.
Registering voters, tons of kids, tons of freedom shirts. And Laura, we just really, really thankful for you. Everyone follow Laura Trump, obviously, right here. You probably already do. She's got over 2 million subscribers here on X. We're just really proud to work with you, Laura.
Thank you. You are the best. Thanks for everything you do. Have a great time at the game. And thank you for continuing to register voters. This is going to be important going forward. We're picking up the mantle where Charlie laid it down. You're doing it. We're all doing it in our family. Everybody out there has to do it. We got to run with this, and we've got to make him proud. And we've got to do the things we know he would want us all to do. So I love that you guys are going to this Penn State Oregon game. Have the best time and get a lot of people registered to vote. That's so cool.
That's right. Absolute patriots. Godspeed, Laura.
Thank you. You too, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just got to put it up one more time. Lot 41. Lot 41. If you're there tomorrow, if you're in Pennsylvania, I want to see you. I got a shirt for you. We are going to make Charlie proud. If you didn't know Charlie Kirk, well, I tell you what, he loved college football, and he loved the culture wars, and he loved winning them. There's something called a whiteout tomorrow at Penn State, if you're familiar. It's got a big old stadium, 100,000 people in it. And we're going to be making sure that at least a considerable portion of those people have a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt on during the game. And we want to get these shirts on national TV and project Charlie's message to the nation. 100 million people will be watching, and we are going to lock it in for Charlie. It's going to be a great day. Please join us. Lot 41, a big turning point tent, big turning point energy. And ladies and gentlemen, we keep that energy going. The bad energy we turn into good energy, and that is the promise of our Lord and Savior. Whew, boy, I got to tell you, make sure you're safe these days. Don't want to reveal too much, but we're just making sure that we're safe. Make sure that when you are, that you just have your head on a swivel. You know, evil just exists. Evil exists in the world, and you don't need to say anything more than that. So make sure that you are encouraging safety among those who you're with. I think it's amazing that there were almost 300,000 Americans that gathered for Charlie Kirk's memorial service. Not one criminal incident. Isn't that incredible? Not even like somebody spitting gum on the sidewalk or jaywalking. None of it. Nothing. It was immaculate. Okay, we are the side of peace. But there is evil in this world, so protect yourself. I protect myself online with ExpressVPN. You know, there are people who can steal my data. There are criminals that exist entirely digitally as well. They can steal your data. They can sell it. They can sell your entire profiles. They can hack what you're doing. Governments can also spy on you. You need a VPN. A VPN obviously ensures that your IP address is hidden. They can't track you. They can't monitor where you're going. They can't monetize your private activity. It's critically important in days like today. It is a sadly sunken and dark world out there, and there are sophisticated criminals. ExpressVPN encrypts 100% of your network traffic. It helps keep all of your data safe from hackers, especially when you're on public Wi-Fi. ExpressVPN works on all of your devices, home, laptop, tablet, you name it. Tap one button and you are protected. Boom, it's that easy. That is why I use ExpressVPN at the home and at the office. You should use it today. ExpressVPN.com/Benny. That's EXPRESSVPN.com/Benny. And you can get an extra 4 months free when you use the code Benny. That's ExpressVPN.com/Benny. We are proud of fighting with you. We know that we will win, and we have much work to do. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to take that energy. We're going to take that energy and we're going to run with it. And we're going to do it for our friend, Charlie. We just want to defend our friend. So let's begin with Psalm 10:15. Break the arm of the wicked and evil man. Call him to account for his wickedness that would not be found out. Break the arm of the evil man, says Psalms. Use the sword. Wield it for justice, please, Trump administration. We've begged you to do it. We did it on stage at Charlie's memorial. We'll do it here. We beg of you, use that sword that has been instituted by God in a godly institution of our government. God chooses our leaders and allows for them to take power, and he demands that they use the sword for the terror of evil men. So that is all we ask for today. We ask simply that you keep the faith, that you march with us on to victory, because you know what? In the end, we win. Have a great, great weekend in this, the greatest country on earth. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
Over the line!
Huh?
If you were over the line, that's a foul.
Bullshit. Mark at 8, dude.
Excuse me. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't...
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't over. Give me the marker, dude. I'm marking an 8.
You're entering a world of pain.
Walter, man.
A world of pain.
Your partner.
Is the whole world gone
Crazy! Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules? Market 0. You think I'm around here? Market 0. Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1. Come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for #1. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.